Okay. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Good morning, online. Good morning. How was your weekend? Huh? Good. Okay. Good morning, sir. Attending session from India today. Oh, nice, Naveen. Good. Welcome to India. Yeah, uploaded all the interview questions and resumes, huh? So that has the pack of everything. So just try to get whenever there is any new thing, try to read from there and then get it. Okay. I gave whatever I have, everything. Resumes also, I gave a lot. So inside it. So, and also I have given resume tips also, right? So please go through it. Mm. So T2 micro and launch. I gave one task for you. Dashboard. Done, na? How about you? This side? Dashboard. Kubernetes dashboard. Done? Here done. Tried or not tried? Tried. How about you online? So let's wait until we. Oh, sir. Acha, you mean yes? Post name CTL set hyphen ops. Ops. Set hyphen I. Somehow it is slow a little bit, huh? Mm. Okay. So please complete it. What happened? I was creating the same bucket. Someone have created already with these names. I told you, no. That's why I'm just putting double three. Where? So I'll take the script. Why AWS configure is not required. We are using a role. Yeah. Yeah. Raju, can you hear me? Mm. So there is also a script. Script is nothing but whatever that we are doing, this one by one. So you put it in one file and then run it, right? So, so let's wait a minute. So I'll validate the cluster and then we'll talk about the concept. Okay. So we'll export the store, state store, and then validate. Okay, ma. So let's move on to today's topic. So can you tell me in our last class, what did we discuss? Auto scaling, resource quotas, and then volumes, persistent volumes, stateful, stateless concepts we have learned. So you completed those, right? Nice. So today, let's move on to a few more important topics. We call it as environment variables. What is that? We have been learning, talking about these environment variables since Jenkins. Yes or no? What is an environment variable? What is environment? What is a variable? Which stores a value, right? Which stores a value. Here also we have environment variable meaning which stores a value only. But let's say, for example, we are using one database. Database images will be there or not. So what we do, we'll create a pod using that image. While creating a pod in that image, we need to pass the username and password or not. So the image has been created such a way that you need to pass the variable as a password. Otherwise, that pod will not run. So we need to pass some values inside the pod. How do you pass the values inside the pod? Using environment variables. So till now we have been learning a lot about the Kubernetes, but we have not discussed anything about passing the value inside the pod. So how do you pass the value inside the pod? Using environment variables. So it is a way to pass configuration information to container running within the pods. To set environment variables, it includes env or env from field. There are two fields that if you want to create it, there are two fields. What are those? Env and env from. Say that. Env, env from. Env meaning directly you run on the command prompt using the command env. Whereas env from meaning you can pass the variables from a file. env meaning directly you're passing the variable using the command. Env from meaning you are passing the variable from file. So which one do you think it is suggestible to use? Env or env from? Env from. But I'll show you env also, env from also here. In env from concept, again, we have two important things. One is config maps and secrets. Say that. That is the concept actually. So what are the two things that we have? How do you pass? There are two types in the env from. What are those? Config maps and secrets. Config maps are used to pass the variables to the pod, whereas config maps basically, if you want to pass a normal variables, you can pass it. It's not that much secure. But if you want to securely pass it, then go for secrets. In short, we can say config map is not encrypted, secrets are encrypted. Or config maps are not secure, whereas secrets are secure. Let's say, for example, you have username passwords are okay, some keys are there, or some very confidential information are there. Then which one you should use? Secrets. Which one you should use? Secret. If you want to pass some variables, it's not that important. Then go for config maps. I'll show you both. Okay. So environment variables. So basically, how do you pass environment? So how do you pass? Mainly we have two things. What are those? env and env from. So which one is used in the command prompt? Env. And which one is used through the file? Env from. So env from has two types again. What are those? Config maps and secrets. Okay. Same thing, config maps are also used to pass the variables. Secrets are also used to pass the variables. But the only difference is config maps is not, you can pass the data which is not confidential. Whereas secrets meaning, if you have a confidential sensitive information, then go for secrets. So now let's go ahead and then create a environment variables using env, using command prompt first. So we need to wait. Okay, all are running. What, all the pods are in pending state only? Cube system pods. Some network issues are. Let's wait, guys. Okay, master is true. Let's wait. Please show document. Which document? Tejas, huh? Okay, meanwhile, so yeah. So that's what we have learned. See, env and env from. So env allows you to set environment variables for a container, specifying a value directly for each variable through CLI or command prompt. So whereas env from passing variables from file. So there are two types. What are those? Config maps and secrets. So config maps it is and secrets both. It is used to sort the data in key value pair. That means if you have username, password is a password, right? Or you can pass files, command line arguments that can be used. So, but the data should be non-confidential. It does not provide security encryption. Which one? Config maps. So if you want to use encryption, we use what? Secrets in Kubernetes. So the file that you are passing should be how much size? Maximum limit is 1 MB only. Okay, Tejas. So next time I should have done this before the class, huh? Voice breaking. Yeah. Okay. So let's wait. So the two are, it is a little bit slow probably. So while this is up, do we have any other questions from any other, not only here, but any questions? Because the next thing is I need to create ENV and ENV from all practicals, right? So do you have any questions meanwhile? Thanks, sir, for uploading AWS questions, also sample resumes. Very good. Good. From resume point of view, please do not copy paste everything. Okay. So there are so many advanced things came up in the companies where it will just screen that it will, you have copied or not. So so take important points, right? Don't use the same format. Use your own format, right? And then you just copy whatever the lines that you're comfortable. Remember, no need to have you. Many people will have this mindset, right? No, Shobha. Chef is very old one. We covered Ansible, no? Yeah. Resumes, many people will have this. Resume should be in one page. What concept is that? Did you heard that? Right? Uh, resumes will not be, two pages are fine. It cannot be 4 pages and 5 pages, right? You are not submitting any, project or something like that. 2 pages are completely fine, right? No need to go to 3. 3 is also fine, but no need to go more than 3. In one single page, how can you say that whatever things that you know, how can you represent? Many people say single page. You know what is the funda of single page? Single page funda concept is the HR or the technical manager is very lazy to see the 2 pages. He want everything to see in one single page, what you need, what you know, right? So for that reason, I don't think so. Yeah, ATS resume you can use. I don't think so that you can have everything in one page, because go with 2 pages, freshers especially, because you need to mention what are the things that you know. You know a lot of things, right? It's good to represent that you know whatever that you know, right, in the resume. So go through it. So no need to fix it in one page. Okay. Go for 2 pages is fine. And whatever the concepts that you are comfortable and confident, put those only concept. But when I say this, don't put only EC2. Only S3 buckets, creating S3 bucket, creating EC2 is no. So whichever that you are comfortable, put all those things. But there are main tools that is 100% required while you are submitting your resume. Like EC2 core services are there. So if required, you can put, I gave the sample resumes also. There you have services names you can put. Projects, we have done so many projects till now. In AWS, we have done so many projects. You can use all those things. But no need to put every project. Put it in single line. That you have done a data migration, database migration, right? Using a data sync or a DMS like this. No need to put as a project. Serverless project we have done. Front-end, back-end projects also we have done. Use all those things. And in DevOps also we have done so many projects, right? You can use all those things. An important concept like tools like core tools in DevOps, Git, GitHub, right? Maven, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, one monitoring tool. These are core things should be there in your resume. In AWS, core services like EC2, S3, VPC, IAM, RDS, Dynamo, CloudFront, CloudFormation, right? So maximum 10, 8 to 10 services, core services. But we have already covered how many services? How many? 60 plus services we covered. No need to mention all those 60 plus services, but in a table you can mention. I gave that in the resume. In the table, in compute services, whatever the things that you know, right? Because I promised you that I'll not be teaching only core services. I'll be teaching the whole AWS solution architect services. That's why we covered more than 60 plus services. 60 plus, but still we have not included ECS, EKS and all those things, right? So that also will be there. So 2 are true, 1 more is pending. So somehow due to network. Praveen Kumar, currently I'm working in support role for 6 years. Okay. So when I create my resume, how do you have to build? If you can be something, nothing. Put it in your support role, and then what? You are in L1 6 years, right? L1 or L2? Production support. Praveen. L3, no, then you can no need to. So just go like your. So you are on the L3 support, but include this AWS and DevOps. So you are giving the production application support, and then your entire environment is on AWS, and then you are using DevOps for pipelines. And you can use our same thing, Praveen. So you should be using in background. They will not check exactly, Naveen. I always say this, guys. In the background, they will verify your company information that you have worked there or not, right? Yeah, tenure and package and all, but they don't really check on what technology that you have worked inside it. Let's say, for example, if you're I say this for BPO customer, BPO technical support. People are there, so many people. BPO technical support. So in technical support, you know that what is the support that you are giving. Does your next company doesn't knows that what support you're doing there? So can you also tell that you are giving support to AWS and DevOps related topics? Yes, you can say. There's no harm, right? But I should not say this in public forum like this. But right? You can do that. Finally, we have our cluster ready. Okay. So kubectl get what? Nodes. Okay, nice. If you are applying for a board member or director, they'll check your behavior. Shahrukh Khan. Yeah. But unfortunately, they didn't check for me. Okay. I hope that you should also become a director one day. Definitely. Fine. But thank you. So who is that? Praveen, you understood? Okay, he replied. Okay, fine. Let's move on now. So we are talking about the environment and environment from. In environment from, we have config maps and secrets. Let's go with what environment first. Let's pass the environment variables. Let's set the environment variables using the command line first. So for that, what we need to have? We need to have a pods running. If you want to have the pods running, you need to do the deployment first of all, right? We can use our manifest file to deploy it, or else we can go with the command also to do that. I have been showed you till now how to create a deployment using the command. Everything you can do it using the command also, right? So we have a command. See here, kubectl create deploy. Say that. kubectl create deploy. Deployment name I'm going for new db hyphen image is equal to, let's say, MariaDB, for example. Very simple command to create. So do you see the difference between auto scaling with a single line command and manifest file? In manifest file, a lot of things are there or not. So here also in deployment, we used to write so many deployment. And do you see kubectl create deploy new db hyphen image is equal to MariaDB. What is MariaDB? MariaDB is a database. So now I'm creating a deployment with only one replica. If you don't mention anything, you have only one replica, right? And then image, what is the image it using? MariaDB. So deployment got created. So if you use kubectl get pods, so it's created how many? Only one, because you didn't mention any replicas over here. If you don't mention, obviously it will get only one. So what is the status it shows? Container creating. Still container creating. Let's wait. Still container creating. Will it take this much time? It will not take this much time to create the container. So there is something wrong with this pod. So how to check the logs for it? kubectl logs. So it is still waiting to start. Huh? So error from server. It's saying bad request. So MariaDB pod is waiting to start. So container creating state. So once it is in running or once it is in, do you remember you got some status of the container? What is that status that you get if something crash loop back off? Remember? So you will get those errors here. Still container creating, no logs. Okay. Container will not be in the running state now. Hold on. It is in running state, but it will, what it says now? Error. So I think this class, when we are creating something, it is taking 1 or 2 minute, 1 minute delay is coming. So just be patient on that. Okay, what you got here? Error. What you got here? Error. So what's the command to see the logs? Get the logs. Ooh. Okay. So do you see this? We got these many logs. Can you see the last two things and then find out what's the problem? Password is not specified. Yes or no? So credentials. So we need to specify what Nana here? Password. So when you're using this MariaDB image, so you need to specify password. Did we mention any password? No. How do you how do we set the password using environment variable? Using what? Environment variable. Online getting Nana? So I showed you there. Okay, let's set the password now. Say that kubectl set env. Which deployment? What is the deployment name? New DB. Okay. So here we have the variable name as you can use MySQL also, or you can use MariaDB also, no issues. MySQL underscore root underscore password. So this is the variable name. Sir, how do we know this variable name? So if you go to the Docker Hub and find out MariaDB image, it has the predefined variables configured on the image already. So you need to use the same variable name. So for example, our favorite password. Okay. So can you tell me the command here, how to set the environment variable here? kubectl set env deploy deployment name, and then what? You're passing the variable. Enter. So now what it says, new DB environment got updated. So if it says, now if I do kubectl get pods, now the old one went through crash loop back off. What is that? Crash loop back off, the old one. So what is the meaning of crash loop back off? I told you, if the image is not proper, right? And then if your container is creating continuously in the backend, so it is go with the crash loop back off. So now, see that is running. The old one not running. Now its container is running. So if you wait for how many minutes also, the container will be running because we have passed what? Password, that meaning variable. Online, clear enough? Okay. Now delete this kubectl, delete, deploy, which one? DB. We deleted it. So what is the next thing? You need to pass the variable from file. So what concept is that? Conf environment from. In that we have two types. What are those? Config maps and secrets. Config maps and what? Secrets. Okay, no. So let's go ahead and then create the deployment again. Tell me the command to deploy. Create a deploy kubectl. Create deploy new db hyphen image is equal to which one? MariaDB. Will it work? Will this work? It will not work. Because did we mention any variable here? No. So if I go for kubectl get pods. Obviously, we got what here? Error. So to resolve this, we have used the environment variable using the command prompt. Now I will be using this using config maps. Using what here, Nana? Config maps. So now you know how to see this error, right? What is the command? kubectl logs and then pod name. And if you want to see the events, what's the command? kubectl get events. Super. Okay, so now what we do is, as I said, we will just go and create a file and then we'll use that file to create a config maps. So config maps is through creating a file or not. So let's go and create a file. So let's say, for example, I'm creating a file called vars. Vars meaning variables. Okay. Inside this, what is the command? What is the variable name? MySQL underscore root underscore password is equal to which one? And then MySQL underscore user is equal to, for example, what is the default username? Admin. So I created the file vars. So I have my credentials or details data inside the vars. Now I need to create what? Config maps. What I need to create? Config maps I need to create using which one? This file. Using this file. Okay, let's go and create kubectl. Create config maps shortcut is CM. What is that? CM. kubectl what? Create CM. What is the config maps name? I call it as dbvars. We need to give the name, right? Deployment, we have given the deployment name. See, right here also, config maps name. What is the config maps name here? Hyphen from hyphen env hyphen what? File is equal to, what's the file name? Vars. Can you please observe this command? What's the command now? kubectl create cm dbvars cm name and then hyphen fm from hyphen env hyphen files is equal to vars. What we created what? Config maps. So can you tell me the command to list the config maps? kubectl get cm. So there is a dbvars is there inside. Got it? What's the command to describe the CM? kubectl describe CM and then CM name. What's the CM name? Don't say Revanth Reddy, okay? dbvars. So the CM here, it clearly says the data. We have MySQL user and then MySQL password. Guys, config maps, I told you it is not confidential. That meaning data is visible clearly. Remember, if you don't want to see the data, then go for secrets. So now we are going for only config maps. Okay, so we just created now config maps, and now we need to create the deployment or not? Yes or no? So deployment is already there. kubectl get pods that went to what? Crash loopback off. So now what I created a config. Previously I created environment variable and I've set the environment variable, right? So here now we created the CM and we need to set the environment variable using the CM or not? Okay, tell me the command. kubectl set env. What's the deployment? Deployment name new db hyphen from config maps slash, what's the config back name? db vars. See the command. kubectl set env deploy new db. Kiran sir, why to give config once here? So we are passing the variables, no? Oh, through config maps. Kiran. No, this is okay. You missed the. Did we created any folder here? Any folder concept here? No, we created a config maps name called dbvars, and we are using the concept called config maps. What's the name of the config maps here? dbvars. I think last 5 minutes you missed it, Kiran. Okay, so our new DB environment got updated or not? So if I do config maps, if I do kubectl get pods, what should be done now? Pods will get created or not? Now it is in the running state. Understand? So the whole concept of this is passing the variable to the container inside the pod. How? Using the environment variable. Through CLI commands also we can do, or env from. In env from we have two types. What are those? Config maps and secrets. So you understood now env with the command prompt, and you also understood from the config maps. What is the next thing here we have? Secrets. So let's go and delete the deployment again. kubectl delete deploy new DB. Kiran, you understood? You missed something? You understood? Okay. Okay. So the next concept here is what? Secrets. So you know the clear difference between config maps and secrets. Config maps is non-confidential, and then secrets are confidential. As the name says clearly, secret meaning it's encrypted. So let's go and create a deployment, and let's fail the pods. Tell me how to create the deployment. kubectl create deploy. Which one? New DB -- image is equal to MariaDB. So obviously our pods will get crashed or not? Obviously the pods will get crashed. So kubectl get pods. We got the error. Now we need to fix this using secrets. Using what here? Secrets. So let's go. We need to create what here? Previously we created config maps, name called dbvars. Now we need to create what? Secrets. So kubectl create. What we need to create, Nana? Secret. What we need to create here? Secret. So there are two ways to create. You can create okay. Do you see this here? kubectl create secret generic. What's the secret name you are passing here? What's the secret name you are using? Password -- from literal, and you are passing the variable directly from the command. You're passing the variable directly from the command. In the secret also, you are passing the variable directly using the command. If you don't want to use the command, then you can use it. You can pass it from the file or not. So you can do this also, or else better way is to do it using the file. So using the file, how do we create? Create kubectl create secret, and then what is that here? Generic. What is the name I'm using here? My secret -- from -env file. Which file is that? Vars. Why? What is the difference between vars and dbvars here? Why did I put vars? Why did I not put the dbvars? Very good. That is config map name we have created. But our information is on vars. The vars is a file name. So we are passing the here file. So the previously dbvars we created is that what? Config maps. CM we created. Good one. So we created it. So my secrets got created. What's the command to list the secret? kubectl get secrets. So do you see this here? Name called my secret. What's the command to describe the secret? kubectl describe secret, and the secret. What's the secret name? My secret. Is it showing any password, username and password here? Is there any? So it shows only 5 bytes and then here 10 bytes. So if at all you want to use confidentially, then go for secrets concept. Okay. So now let's pass these secrets to our deployment or not. So what's the command to pass the secrets? kubectl set env deploy. Which deployment? New dp -fm from which one we are doing now? Secret. Which one secret? My secret. Good enough? Let's go. So if I do kubectl get pods and the pods is in running state. You understood? I took 3 scenarios today. Now, so initially what I did, I created a deployment and then what I did, I created the deployment using the command. So whereas it is running only one replica and then the pod got failed. So to resolve that, what I did, I set an environment variable using the command prompt, that is env. Clear? Second thing, what I did, I deleted the deployment and created again deployment. I crashed the pod. Then if you want to keep it running, so there are 2 ways to pass the variables. One is config maps, another one is secrets through file. So I created a file called vars and then I put the username and password over there, right? And then what I did, I created a config map. What's the config map name? Then I created here db vars. Then I set the variable, environment variable using this config maps called db vars. Next, what I did, vars file is there. I created a secret. So what's the secret name I created? My-secrets. And then what I did here, I set the environment variable using the secrets. Now the pod is running. 3 scenarios you understood? How to pass the environment variables? Online? Yeah. So if you want to see the secrets, we have kubectl get secrets. What's the secret name? My secret. If you do like this, if you want to see the data about that my secrets, how do you see the data? Can you see the data? You cannot see the data, right? But if you want to see the data, see here, Kiran, I'm talking about that only. So same command -o YAML you say. What is that? -o YAML. And do you see the password? Something it has encrypted or not? Username is this and password is this. But don't get tempted and put that username is this and password is this because this is encrypted. So if you want to decrypt it or decode it, so we use this command called, say with me, echo-n. Put this and then here base 64 decode -d base. Do you see the password here? So if you want to use the username, so remove this and then what is the username here? Admin. Clear? Is it clear? Clear on the environments variables online? So if you want to change the password, change the var files and create the secrets, update the secrets. Kiran. Okay, let's delete it, the deployment. kubectl, delete, deploy, which one? So we don't have any pods now. Okay, clear? So that was on the environment. So 3 scenarios: environment, config maps, and secrets. Very, very, very important topic, because in the real time we'll be doing front end and back end deployments, right? In the back end, meaning obviously we have what? Database. What is the database that I have used? MariaDB. I didn't log in inside the pods and then created a database, but it's a database is there or not. So after the Kubernetes, we'll be doing a project, front end and back end. But I'll just explain the project, but that project you have to do it by yourself. That's a task for you. There is a project called MongoDB Express and MongoDB in the backend. What is that? MongoDB Express. MongoDB Express is the front end application you have, and then MongoDB is the backend database is there. So when you're using, so the front end deployment will be there, back end deployment will be there. How many deployments? 2. One is front end deployment, another one is back end deployment. And then we need to create a service also or not? Service for whom? Front end. And then which type you should use? Load balancer. Yes or no? And then you expose it outside. But here we will create a service internally for the database. Which one? Cluster IP or node, anything is fine or not? And then this front end need to get connected to the backend database. How does the application is connecting to the database? We need to pass username and password or not? How do you pass? Using config maps. So this concept will be really, really useful in your project. So how do you pass the config maps? How to call it? How to create it? Right? How to pass the secrets? And how to use these environments? How to set the variables? Everything is the concept. Okay? Okay. So the next topic here we'll talk about is sidecar. What is that? Sidecar. Say that. Sidecar. Sidecar meaning not like a car which is parking side is called sidecar. So sidecar concept is there. But to talk about that concept, I will show you one manifest file. Go through it and you tell me what that manifest file is doing. Then you will understand what the sidecar is. Okay, now? I'll take it in. Okay. See this and try to tell me. Aram say take it. Try to tell me what that is doing. Persistent volume we learned, right? Persistent volume. In the volumes, we called the persistent volume claim, and then we mounted that inside the container or not. Similarly, there is another type of volume called empty directory. What is that? Empty directory, when it will create the empty directory. Like in Docker, we created a directories. No, volume is nothing but directory only. No. Similarly, here also, if you want to use local host machine directories, then use empty directory, meaning it will create the empty directory. Now tell me, see this and tell me. Rajat, I forgot your question. You asked when I'll start Terraform. So the next topic would be Terraform only. But Kubernetes is a bigger one. So we are going deeper, right? So you can discuss, no problem. Discuss and try to tell me what it is doing. Did you got anything? I want complete information. Hmm. Creating. Ah. Okay. Okay. Then what is the output? There is one output that is coming up. Very good. Very good, Naveen. Very good, Ajit. Very good, guys. Offline. So yes, first of all, here, how many containers are there? 2 containers. Sidecar meaning, I'll come to that point. So let's go to, yeah. So sidecar meaning simply, Nana, it creates an helper container to the main container, like a helper. What's that? Sidecar meaning in one pod you have how many containers? 2 containers. How many containers? Like side business, huh? Okay. So here we in one pod we have 2 containers. One will be the main container. Second will be the helper container. What is that? Helper. Main container is the main container, but the second container is helping the main container. That second container we call it as sidecar. The second container we call what here? Sidecar. Let's say for example logs. So okay, inside that we have 3 types of patterns. Adapter design pattern. Say that. Say that again. Ambassador design pattern. Init container. What's that? So there are different types. So as the name, as it clearly says, adapter, this is for your interview or certifications, but not technically. Technically, we'll go with this init container. We have different types. See here, adapter design pattern meaning standardize the output pattern of main container. So it will give the output of the main container. And then ambassador design pattern meaning used to connect containers with the outside world. And then init container meaning it is just like if you go with the init container, when the pod start running, first init container will come up, initialize, and it will do the work and it will close. Init meaning initializing the container. So there, like we have auto startup side will be there, right? Auto start scripts will be there, right? Similarly, like init containers are like that. Whenever you created a pod, what will happen? So init container will get started and automatically whatever you have mentioned inside the init container, that will get executed. And then it'll go to, and then next the main container will get created. What is the concept called? Init container. Say that one more time. So it initializes the first work and exit later. Okay. So the example that I have given here is log aggregation with the side container. So if we take this example, let's go. API version is what city here? V1. Kind is pod. So it is not a deployment. It is just a pod. Name is this. Container. How many containers are there here? 2 containers. The first name is app container. Second one is sidecar container. So we have 2 containers, app container, sidecar container. And then also what we have here, volumes. So in specifications, we have 3 things, mainly 2 things, container and then volumes. Inside the container, we have 2 containers. Let's go with the first one, app container. What this app container is doing, image Alpine. So you can take any, that is also one of the image. So bin bash and arguments. Okay, I don't waste the time now. While true, to date, this one. So can you tell me what this is doing quickly? So while true, it will do a while loop. To date, meaning it will print the date where in which file apps.log every 5 seconds. That meaning in this app.log, what I'll get? Date. Every 5. So that's a while loop that I have written here, small one, where it is generating the, so the concept is it should have some log. It should have some log. So I'm generating and putting the date inside the log. Okay. Now, next what I have here, side container. Side container, which one I'm using here? Nginx. What I'm using here? Nginx. So here I created a volume called, what is the name of the volume here? Shared logs, and it is creating what? Empty directory. Okay. Now this shared logs, what I'm doing is I'm mounting that in both the containers. Shared logs, I'm mounting in the container. See, name is, what the name here? Shared logs. I'm calling the same shared logs, and I'm mounting to where? Var logs. What is there in the var logs? So that meaning this app.log is sitting inside the empty directory or not? Guys, yes or no? Listen carefully. This app, so I'm saying again, I'm creating a volume. So what is the name of the volume? Shared logs. It's an empty directory. So now we need to mount these shared logs or not? Where are you mounting? In a particular directory to mount or not? To which directory you're mounting? Var log. What is there inside the var log? What file is there? App log. So that meaning in the shared logs directory, what is the file that we have? Apps log. And the same, I'm putting it in the shared logs directory. I'm mounting it to USR share Nginx HTML. What is the default directory for Nginx? USR share Nginx HTML. That meaning whatever the logs I have, I'm putting inside it. That meaning our Nginx will consider this as a website or not. So that meaning I can use Nginx and I can see the logs outside. I can see the logs outside. So these container logs Nginx is hosting. These container logs Nginx is hosting. How? By sharing the volumes. What is there inside the volumes? App.log. Clear? Huh? Clear, Nana? Offline? Clear, Nana? Online, this is clear? Please, everyone. Got it? Huh? Alpine is the image name. Here it clearly says, what is that? Image. Like how we have Ubuntu, how we have CentOS, how we have Nginx, like this. Alpine is also another Linux image. Online, I need CC. Is this clear? This manifest file, please. Nice. Okay. So now, if I run this manifest file, what will happen? Pods will get created or not? The pod will, how many pod will get created? One pod will get created. Inside that, how many containers will be there? 2 containers. So now, if I go inside which container? Sidecar container. Can I see the log? And if I go inside this directory, can I see the logs or not? Should we do it? Nice. Let's go. And then I call it as what? Sidecar.yaml. Okay, today. So I take it. Okay. How? kubectl create -f. Which one? Sidecar. So kubectl get pods. So it is, do you see 0/2? That meaning how many are there? 2 containers. Let it come up. Takes times. So after that, what I do? I'll just log in inside the pod. Do you remember the command? So what's the command to log into the pod? kubectl exec. But we are inside the pod, we have the container also, right? So what's the command I should use? -c. Very good. -c. And what's the container name? Sidecar-container. If I go inside it, then what I should do? I go inside the USR, share all this, and then I should see the logs. If I open the logs, I should see date. That's the whole concept. Let's see. So now it is 2/2 running or not? Okay, tell me how to log in. kubectl exec hyphen it. What's the pod name? Okay, hyphen c. What's the sidecar hyphen container hyphen sh or bin bash, whichever it. Go inside it. cd usr share nginx html. Do you see app.log now? Is there app.log in the nginx normally? No, right? In nginx we have the plain html. Nothing will be there. But I used volume concept, empty directory volume type concept, and I've shared that to the two containers. And then I use the same mount name, and then app.log is falling inside it. So if I do cat app.log and I see the date. So our sidecar is helping the main container or not? So main container is generating the logs, and the sidecar is taking the log and hosting the logs. Same concept we use for the monitoring. Assume that there is a monitoring tool running on the main container. It will generate the logs or not? Let's say you have Nginx, you have some application running. So it will generate the logs or not? And that logs, you host it on Nginx, no? And then use the IP address and then check all the logs from the website. I'm giving you different scenarios so that in your real time, when any task comes, you can use any of my scenario. That's the concept. Is it clear now? Online? Sidecar? Init container? Online? Clear? Nice. How to delete it? kubectl. Oh. Exit it. Okay. kubectl. Delete everything. Delete -f. Which one? Okay. So, Kiran, which command? The manifest file. Okay, manifest file. You're asking about, Kiran? Which kubectl? How to log in? Acha. Okay. So let it delete. It's easy, no? Generally, how to log into the pod? kubectl exec -it, and then we need to put the pod name. And then inside this pod, we have two containers. No, if it is one container, by default, you can go for it. If it is two containers, then you need to put -c. And what's the pod name that we have? Sidecar -container. And then which shell you should use? Bin bash or also sh also, --sh. Okay, Kiran? Okay. So now, super important topic. We call it as ingress controller. Say that. Very important topic. So ingress controller is similarly, let me remind you our old golden days. Do you remember we learned EC2 so many days? In EC2, in the load balancer concept, in application, there are different types of load balancers, right? And which is the most common load balancer we use? Application load balancer. So the main purpose of application load balancer is it has a routing features, remember? Host-based routing, path-based routing. Remember, I gave you /admin topic also, remember? /admin task you have done, right? So, till now, we have deployed using the load. With the load balancer also we deployed, yes or no? And if you copy paste our load balancer here in Kubernetes, we have deployed the application using load balancer or not? If you copy paste the load balancer and you're getting the application. But if you have path-based routings, how do you do that? If you have path-based routing, how do you do that? So in load balancer, we have rules. In load balancer, in AWS load balancer, we have rules. We created a rule called /admin rule, and then in the backend target group is there separate, and there we are forwarding. That is on AWS. But how do we do this in Kubernetes? Using ingress controller. Using what here? Ingress controller mainly is used for host-based routing or path-based routings. Let's assume I have this is a cluster, right? And then okay. So we have two deployments inside it. Assume we have two deployments. Two deployments in two applications or not? Okay. Assume this is Apache deployment and this is Nginx deployment. So in Apache, we have application running, default application. In Nginx also. So this is one deployment and this is another deployment. So now I have a load balancer, ELB. So HTTP : ELB will put it, yes or no? Whenever you put ELB, previously what we used to have, so we will, in the backend we have, after deployment, what you create? We create a service, right? And then directly go to the service, will go to the application, yes or no? Everyone agree, yes or no? So we have the load balancer, it will go to the service in the backend, what it has? Deployment, yes or no? But now I have two deployments, but I need to use the same load balancer. So what I need to do is, if I put here /httpd, for example, it should go here and then go to this. And if I put /nginx, for example, the same URL, it should go to this. And this redirection will be done by Nginx controller. This Nginx itself will create the load balancer for us. Nginx will create the load balancer. You got the topic, guys? Online or not? So in previously, we used to have a load balancer. Load balancer is sending the traffic to only one deployment. That means only one application in the backend. Now, if I have two applications, I need to use the same load balancer and I need to use path-based routing. Actually here, Naveen, yes sir, last week you used Nginx as load balancer, exactly. Right, do you see, here application I'm putting, you can put your real application also, but I'm putting here default application. Do you remember Apache has a default application or not? If you open, it says it works. Apache, default page is there, it works, it says. And then Nginx, welcome to Nginx default page is there or not? So what I do is, if I use the same load balancer, and if I use /httpd or /nginx, if I use /httpd, my request will go to the Nginx controller. Nginx will redirect the request to Apache. And if the same load balancer, if you put another path /nginx, it will go to the Nginx controller and then redirect to Nginx. So here Nginx controller, I mean ingress controller. Of course, ingress controller in the backend also it is using what? Nginx only. That's why I used to call Nginx controller. Ingress controller in the backend, what we are using? Nginx only. Concept is clear? Online? Okay. So now how many deployments we need to do? Two deployments. And after that, we need to create a Nginx controller. So totally how many? Three. One is HTTPD. Another one is Nginx. Another one is ingress controller. Say with me again, three things. What are those? HTTPD, Nginx, ingress controller. Now I'm showing you here. Okay. Of course, we need to create a service or not? No. Here we need to create what? Service. Okay. See here. This one you know already. Apps v1. What is this? Deployment name, HTTP. How many replicas? Match labels. Everything here. And then in containers, how many containers? Only one. And what is the container name here? HTTPD, and it using the HTTPD image, and it has a default page will be there inside it, and exposing the port here 80, and passing some small environment variable called title as Apache. Apache 1 or is 1 is fine. Okay. And then for this deployment, I need to create a service or not. And in the backend, which service I'm using? Cluster IP. This is cluster IP. This deployment is what here? Cluster IP. Because I'm not exposing these deployments outside using load balancer, because I'm creating what? Ingress controller. Ingress controller will create a load balancer that will get exposed. Or in the deployment should be private. So that's the reason cluster IP. This same thing, Nginx I create. And then finally, what I need to create here? Ingress. So guys, here ingress annotations I have given, that meaning SSL redirect. If you are using HTTP, HTTPS, that redirect we are not doing. I'm putting it false. And regular expressions I'm putting true. And redirect targets, how many targets are there? See here. Ingress class name. What is the ingress I'm using here? Nginx. And I'm creating a rules here. See here, very important. Path. If anyone puts /nginx, so in the backend, we created a service, no? What's the service name here? HTTPT. For Nginx, what's the service name? Nginx. So if anyone puts /nginx, it should go to which service? Nginx service. If anyone is putting /httpd, which service it should go? And if anyone don't put, they just access load balancer. Only /load balancer. And it by default is going to Nginx. The same concept in real time also Paytm is using. If you use Paytm, by default it's going to this page or not. And if someone is typing Paytm movie tickets /movies, where it is going? If someone is typing /movies, it is going to the movies application or not? And if you go back, okay. If you're going to flight tickets /flights, it is going to flights page or not? Two different applications, same Paytm website or not? Same concept here. But here two applications I'm taking, Apache and Nginx. Got it, no? So what I need to do, we just need to execute these three manifest files. If you execute this, automatic, what will create? It will create a, first if you execute these two, okay, let's go and execute this two. This one. Do we have anything? kubectl get pods. Nothing, no? Okay. VI, which one is that? httpd dot YAML. Okay, this is httpd. So how to do this? kubectl create -f http. It will create how many? One replica, fine, but it will create a deployment and also it will create a service. See, deployment got created and services also got created. And the service type is what? Cluster IP. Okay. So similarly, we go for Nginx. Create in a kubectl, create -f, and it has created replica, deployment also, it has created, and service also. Now the bottom two are ready, Nana, here. This bottom two are ready. So deployment, this one is created, service is also got created with cluster IP. So on top of these two, what I need to create now? Nginx controller. So this Nginx controller is a So we are using Ingress controller as Nginx. In future, companies will use different Nginx controllers. Ingress controllers. Ingress controllers in the backend, they use Nginx also. Ingress controller, they can use some HTTP also, or Ingress controller, they'll use some other software also. But here I'm using Ingress controller as Nginx, which is very commonly used. So now, finally, what I need to create? Ingress. PI ingress start. So Okay, kubectl create -f ingress. Okay, now. So now tell me what it'll do. It'll create what? Load balancer. What's the command to check? So how many deployments will be there? kubectl get deploy. How many deployments? Two. One is HTTPD, another one is Nginx. So kubectl get pods. How many pods are there? Two pods. One is HTTPD, another one is Nginx. So kubectl get service. How many services? Right? Two services, no, we created. One is a HTTPD, another one is Nginx. So kubectl get ingress. So ingress creates ingress. Okay, there is a command here to, you can use the describe command also, or as DC kubectl get services. Which services here? Nginx controller namespace. Getting it? So it is creating in the backend. No namespace found. Namespaces. We need to first, sorry. So first of all, we need to install, right, Nginx. So that's what I was saying here. Nginx controller, we need to install first. So let install. So Nginx got installed. So what I do is ingress controller we need to install. I'll just delete only the ingress controller and then we'll create it again. Delete -f. Which one is that? Ingress. So we delete, right? Now what we did is correct only. The only thing is we missed what? Installing the ingress controller. Ingress controller separately you need to install. It will not come by default with the Kubernetes. Okay. So now ingress controller got installed. What we need to do finally? kubectl create -f. Which one? Ingress. Now. So now let's use the command. Now we got it. Do you see the load balancer here? Okay, now. So you need to wait for a minute and then this load balancer will come up. And if you go ahead and then put it in the browser, if you just put load balancer, what will happen? Nginx will come. If you put /httpd, Apache will come. If you put /nginx, welcome to Nginx will come. It will not work. Oh, wow, good. So what you got here? We got Nginx by default. It's very fast. / which one? HTTPD. It says it works. And if you put /nginx, and welcome to Nginx. This is the real application that what we did. But here I'm using a sampling application, but in real time, you can use your own image or not. In practice, what you do? You put image instead of put Nginx, you put what? IB image, whichever image you want to put, you can use it. Clear, Nana? Is it clear? Online? Will you able to do this? I'm going very slow. So today, what concept we have learned? Environment variables and sidecar ingress controllers. Will you able to complete this? Good. Clear, Chidi? Make sure that you go ahead and then delete it. Any questions? Super. So if you don't have any questions, Nana, can you give me the final CC for today, please, online? No, you cannot directly terminate it. Kiran. Yes. So that is all for today. Let's connect tomorrow with the next concept. Until then, take care, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.